Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rebel Rewind. My name's Christopher. That's Eric over there. How you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm doing excellent, man. Had
Awesome.
some good Star Wars on TV yesterday.
I know,
How you
right?
doing, Chris?
Doing good. Yeah, I enjoyed the. Without saying too much right now, because we'll
Yeah.
do a little bit of a recap
Yes,
after
sir.
recap on the two episodes, and without saying too much, I really enjoyed it.
Isn't it nice to have Star Wars back on TV, like new episodes?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
definitely.
Um, what would you rank the episodes
I'd say
out of 10?
the first episode was a good solid 8.5. The second episode was like roughly, I would say 9, I think.
Yeah, that's roughly
It
where
was
I
the
am.
first one was like
I
really
think
good.
I think I'd go 9 for the first one and maybe like a 9.5 for the second one, just
Yeah,
because the second one had some interesting stuff in there in the second
yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I
but
don't want to start off this high, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I'm sure it'll get a
yeah,
little bit better.
yeah, yeah. We'll see. I'm sure it's gonna get better for sure. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, but
uh,
shoot, it's strong
yeah,
first and
yeah.
second
Some great
episodes.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, we got some news today. Some interesting news and some that has to do with the skeleton crew, of course.
Mm.
So we'll chat about that here in a moment. We got Patrick Poptography says, "Let's go 4-3-2-1."
Let's go. What's up,
Right.
Patrick?
So yeah, yeah. What's up, Patrick? Thanks for hopping in the chat.
Yes, sir.
Um, Let us know
Appreciate
if
it.
you're watching live. Let us know what you thought of the skeleton crew as well. But let's jump into our first article here. So first article comes from the Direct. This was I think this was posted last week. So Disney will end 2024 and start 2025 with a handful of exciting new streaming releases from Marvel and Star Wars. So they confirmed the next 6 Marvel and Star Wars show releases for 2024, 2025, and there's only a couple Star Wars ones. So um, Skeleton Crew is the first one for Star Wars here, which
Mm-hmm.
just started yesterday.
Yes.
And then we got What If season 3, if you're a Marvel fan.
That's a good
And
series.
that comes out December 22nd. We got Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man comes out January 29th. Daredevil Born Again March
Mm-hmm.
4th. And then the next Star Wars, and I think the only Star Wars season for 2025 or live action anyways is Andor season 2. But I didn't see Visions on here because Visions is supposed to come out next year as well. So this list is a little old already,
Hmm.
or they forgot to add it. But Ironheart comes out in June, and that's it. So that's all the live action Star Wars. And as I mentioned, like I said, we'll get Visions season 3, I think in April at some point as
Mm-hmm.
well. So what do you think? What are your thoughts?
No, that's a good way to start 2025.
Yeah,
Got Skeleton Crew, then April, Andor season 2.
Andor.
I'm
Yeah,
super hyped for that.
because Skeleton Crew is going to go out. It's going to go into January. It's going to run into January, like mid
Mm-hmm.
January. So that doesn't leave us that much time before Andor. Like there's a little bit of a gap, but it gives us some time to kind of get a breather. Maybe focus on some other Star Wars stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Collect more collecting until Andor season 2 comes out, and then we got 12 episodes of Andor, right? So
Yep. So
it's a good
yeah,
good
no, I
time to
saw.
be a Star Wars fan for sure.
Definitely. No, I saw some pops over the weekend. I didn't pick any of the Skeleton Crew pops, but yeah, I saw some. So they're out there.
Mm.
Want to get that Neil pop?
Yeah, the Neil pop is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably the best part of the series right
Definitely.
now.
Yeah.
We got Darth Thor in the chat. Episode 1 is an 8 and episode 2 is a 9. Kids were good, tons of aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Great soundtrack. Yeah, the
Ooh,
soundtrack was very good. And
soundtrack was
intriguing
amazing.
mystery. Yeah. Will of the Force. Will's in the chat. Hey,
What's up?
Will. This is K, but where's Neil? Yeah, right. Neil, our boy Neil.
Yeah, we should use him on a thumbnail. It's
Yeah,
like
right?
anything Neil, man.
We'll just have different images of Neil every week now,
Right.
going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
mean, something to look forward to. I mean, like beginning of January, Skeleton Crew, then April, Andor
yeah,
season 2. It's a good way to start the year. That's for sure.
yeah, exactly.
So let me get into my first story of this evening. So Star Wars Skeleton Crew reactions have critics united. So Star Wars Skeleton Crew look poised to join the hit list. Based on critics' reaction to the first 2 episodes, the general consensus is overwhelmingly positive. One critic described it as 80s Amblin adventure vibes with sprinkle of early Mandalorian. And she wasn't the only critic to name drop Amblin. The production company, those whose name is synonymous with kids, focus adventures like E.T., Extraterrestrial, and The Goonies. So another critic wrote that Skeleton Crew effortlessly captures the spirit of The Goonies to deliver a fun, kid-centric Star Wars adventure. One caveat mentioned in a few reactions is that Skeleton Crew starts off a little slow, but praised the first 2 episodes overall and warned that the first episode admittedly takes a while to kick into gear. Disney drops the first 2 episodes at the same time, should at least allow audience to get past the setup and into the first taste of the adventure. So critic Kieran Burt called it an intriguing hook for the rest of the series. So 100% agree with the Amblin feel of it. Like,
Yeah,
you can see like some of the inspiration, like E.T. and some of the other ones, like especially Goonies. I mean, it was
especially
just
Goonies.
yeah. So yeah, no, it just took me back to my childhood watching these older movies aimed
Yeah,
for kids,
yeah.
and I loved it, man.
Goonies and Stand by Me. Actually, I could see
Stand by
the
Me.
yeah, right.
I even a little got a view of when they were in the detention hall, which was a pretty cool scene, kind of like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It was
Yeah,
like
yep.
that's cool.
Yeah, they pulled inspiration from a lot of stuff, and
Mhm.
even a lot of Star Wars content. There was a lot of nods to
Yep.
other Star Wars movies and shows. Like the holiday special was seen.
Yes.
There was a little, yeah.
Yeah, the
I'm sure
little
you know what scene we're talking about. The
yes,
hologram.
the hologram
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Yeah. I was like, you got to if you're going to make a reference to like 80s, then of course you're going to have to add in your own Star Wars,
Yeah,
in there. So that was pretty cool tie
right.
in.
Ricky in the chat
What's up,
says
Ricky?
we need more Neil. Yeah, more Neil. And Neil and his twin brothers there, right?
Yeah, it's two little twin brothers.
Yeah, and then we got
Yeah,
Neil in the bath.
horrible little guys.
That was a spicy scene there. Neil in the bathtub.
Wim was looking down and like, whoa, what are you doing in that bathtub?
Whoa.
Hilarious.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited for more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So jumping into the next story here. This one is from Comic Book Movie. Wait till this one loads. So this one, the Dune director, Dennis Villeneuve, I guess is his name. Wait for this thing to load.
Let me see. Let me pull up your story, Chris. You just get it?
No, it's not loading for some reason.
Okay.
Oh, there we
Let
go. It's
me go
just
grab it
slow.
real quick.
It's slowly loading. Yeah, so Dune director Dennis Villeneuve feels Return of the Jedi derailed Star Wars, which everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That's fine, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's like the majority of the fans would probably disagree with him. I'm sure there's some fans that agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Dune and Dune Part 2 director Dennis Villeneuve has often mentioned that he is or was a huge Star Wars fan, and has even suggested that George Lucas's original trilogy was an early influence on his decision to pursue a career as a filmmaker, which George was inspiration and influence on a lot of filmmakers like Ron Howard and stuff like that as well. Despite his love for the franchise, Villeneuve has now explained why he has no interest in directing a movie set in a galaxy far, far away. So, while chatting to the Town podcast, Villeneuve said, "Directing a Star Wars movie simply isn't a dream of his because Star Wars became crystallized in its own mythology, very dogmatic. It seemed like a recipe, no more surprises." He also feels that Return of the Jedi derailed the franchise back in 1983. So, I mean, like I said, everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Salty much?
I don't agree with it, though. Yeah, I know.
Right.
He goes on to say, I was a target audience. I was 10 years old. It went into my brain like a silver bullet. I became obsessed with Star Wars. I mean, The Empire Strikes Back is the movie that I anticipated the most in my life. I saw the movie a billion times on screen. I was traumatized by The Empire Strikes Back. I adore Star Wars. And then he goes on to say, the problem is that it all derailed in 1983 with Return of the Jedi. It's a long story. I was 15 years old, and my best friend and I wanted to take a cab to go to LA and talk to George Lucas. We were so angry. Still today, the Ewoks. It turned out to be a comedy for kids. But that's the thing. So I'm sure you've probably heard stuff where George Lucas said, Star Wars has always been for kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So I don't know. Like I said, it's okay to have your own opinion. That's fine. And I'm sure there's others who didn't like the Ewoks, and that's completely fine. It's like not liking the Phantom Menace and the prequels because of Jar Jar, right? Like a lot of people, original trilogy fans didn't like it, right? So, yeah, it's kind of funny that he thought Return of the Jedi derailed the franchise.
Yeah.
That's an interesting opinion.
I think what's going on is that with the New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, kids were growing up, like they were at a certain age, like 7 years later, so George Lucas already, he was making movies for kids. It's just that the audience that grew up watching the first two were a little bit more older, and they didn't want to watch like, Ewoks and stuff like that. It was more, kid driven, but I mean, originally was, like you said, made for kids.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just that the target audience started growing up a little bit more, and that's why they were like, okay,
and that's what happened with the prequels too. Like all the kids who saw Return of the Jedi when they were, 8 years old, whatever, they grew up and they saw Phantom Menace and they're like, you know what, I don't like it, right? So, just like you said, they were kids and they grew up, right? So their taste changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that. Yeah. We've got your pal Joe in the chat. He says, "How did you guys like the show so far? I'm from Mike's channel. Hey, thanks for hopping in the chat. We appreciate it, Joe." He said, "I loved it. Solid 9/10 for both episodes." Yeah, I didn't want to give it a 10 just because I feel like there's going to be a better episode as we go on. But I think a solid 9.5 for me.
Yep. So 8.5 and 9 for the second episode. So yeah, it's up there.
Joe said, "I feel like that's why shows like Andor exist. They pander a bit to an older audience." Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but see, now we have adults. We're watching it. We're loving this stuff, man, because it takes us back to our childhood. And kids, of course, are gonna like this. So I mean, I just showed my niece, and she enjoyed it.
Yeah.
She watched the first.
You showed her. Sorry, you showed her the Skeleton Crew, the first
Skeleton Crew. She started watching the Skeleton Crew today, like right before our live. So
yeah,
we're gonna watch the second episode tomorrow. So she's enjoying it. So yeah.
Just that's what most people are saying, but I love them both equally. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. Like when the entire season's done, might have to rank the episodes or something.
that'd be a good video to do,
Yeah,
ranking the episodes.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people rank the seasons, like the series or the seasons, right? But not a lot of people have ranked that I know of that I've seen have ranked the each episode in a season, right?
Be fun.
Yeah, might be kind of fun to do after this is over. Yeah,
So, but
very
yeah,
cool.
I mean, I totally get it. I totally get it. But at the same time,
Yeah,
once you get to the age, man, it's like, I mean, obviously, it really he really didn't like he really didn't like episode 4. Was it
6.
6?
Yeah,
6, yeah. So
yeah,
no, but I mean, I think for me, that is my least favorite of the original trilogies myself. But I mean,
yeah.
I do love the Vader, Palpatine, Luke Skywalker scenes at
The
towards
fight
the
at the end.
middle at
Yeah,
the end, yeah, and the
yeah,
dog fighting, the battles. But yeah, it's it's each his own.
yeah. And like you said, it does have to do with what age you were when you saw these movies,
Mhm.
right? Like, because you were, how old were you? You were about his age, or were you a little older?
So that came out in '83.
Yeah,
I was, hmm, I'm trying to do the math here. Give me a second here. So, so I'm gonna give you my age, 75. So 85.
yeah. So
That's
you were right in that
about
10-year-old.
eight-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. So yeah, yeah, young enough where you could appreciate it, but you didn't hate the
Yeah.
Ewoks, right?
No.
Yeah,
No, I mean for that for that time, I loved it, but when you get a little bit older, it's like, okay. But I mean,
yeah.
I don't hate I hate the movie, I get it.
No, yeah.
I
That's
I, I
that's
totally
that's
get
the
it.
thing.
It was made for kids for that time.
Yeah.
So
Joe said I really enjoyed the character development in the first episode. Yeah, and I like we'll do a little bit of a recap of the two
sure.
episodes after we go through our news articles for this evening.
Sure.
But yeah, it's the character development. It jumped right into introducing the characters. It got everything out of the way, right, and
Hmm.
introduced everyone and kind of showed you what the show is going to be about, which is awesome. Said I hear you. I'm a prequel kid. Yeah. Part of it is because A New Hope and Empire are just so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, for me, it's the other way around. I enjoyed Empire and Return of the Jedi more than A New Hope.
Oh man. No, I mean, dude, I mean everybody's a little different, but yeah, I
Yeah, yeah,
love A New Hope.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still love it, but I
Yeah.
just love
It's
Empire
just
and Return of the Jedi more. So
get it. I
yeah, I
get
have
it.
an odd perspective. Seeing the prequels first before the original trilogy, it never felt like a kids movie. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
the
that.
prequels I mean, the Phantom Menace, a little bit more, kids, or
Yeah,
written for kids, but a little bit the other
yeah.
ones are a little bit darker and
A little bit dark,
especially
especially Revenge of the Sith,
Vengeance of
right?
the
So
yes. Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Yep. Is that your story?
yeah. This is the next story, Eric's
Oh, this
next
is mine.
story. Yeah,
Got caught off track here. Today's new Star Wars show was originally a movie, but why did the plans change? So, the creator of Star Wars Skeleton Crew have revealed that the new Star Wars TV show was originally a movie pitch. Speaking to TV Line, Watt and Ford had revealed that the original pitch was for a movie. I pitched it a long time ago, right after the first Spider-Man Homecoming movie. It was initially pitched for Lucasfilm as a film. Then I made two Spider-Man movies because the first two did all right. As Spider-Man movies were being made, they gave us more time to explore the galaxy and get into the world of pirates and have a little bit more fun with it. Once I finished the third Spider-Man movie, we could finally get to work making it. Fortunately, Star Wars Skeleton Crew sounded like the kind of project that really should be a TV show. It clearly centered on its characters and everything that we've seen so far, suggesting that the cast is tremendous. The dynamics between Jude Law and the kids look fantastic, and the additional length should give a lot of time for character work. In this case, the transition from a movie to TV show will hopefully work well. As we've seen so far in these two episodes, are working perfect. I mean, kids are,
hmm,
I mean, the interacting between these kids and the character development it's working for a TV show, and I'm glad that they chose that. This is what they're going to go with, because we get
Yeah.
more of them. It's not like just a 2 hour movie or 1.5 hour movie. We're getting much more than that.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, that worked out brilliantly.
Yeah, it'll still be interesting, like after the whole series is done, to kind of look back and reflect on it and wonder if it would work better as a movie. But I'm sure, I'm sure we'll get like a Patterson cut, like Kai Patterson, who did the
Yeah.
Patterson cut of the Ahsoka series and
Yep.
the Kenobi series. I'm
Make
sure
this
he'll
movie.
come in and right, because that's what he does. So, and it'll be interesting to see his version of it, right? So
Yeah. So do you like the format of it being a TV show?
so far, yeah. So far, I think the format works, right? And like that second episode, it didn't feel short, even though it was only like just over half an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they've got the right episode length so far. Could they have been longer? Maybe, but then they would have had to try and have some filler stuff in there, because I think it
Yeah,
ended
I
like
don't want
on
that.
a cliffhanger there, right? Like
Yeah.
we'll jump into it when we talk about the recap and recap the episodes, but they ended at good points, like
Yeah.
kind of like on cliffhangers. If you're to watch one
Yeah,
episode a week,
definitely.
so
Yeah, that first episode, how it ended, perfect.
yeah, and the second one too. So
Second one, yeah.
So the next article, a little bit of Taika Waititi news. So apparently he's dodging questions about his Star Wars movie, which is interesting. So if there's a master of evading questions out there in a matter that challenges while also entertaining the listener, it's Taika Waititi. In a new interview with the Playlist while promoting his new project, Interior Chinatown, which he's executive producing, Waititi was asked about some of his projects he's been attached to over the years to develop, including his new Star Wars movie, and his response was a bit coy, to say the least. So here's what he said about the topic of his Star Wars movie, the Flash Gordon remake and Akira adaptation he was supposed to be doing. What was ever alive, he said. What is death? Death is just a new opportunity, more life to grow and flourish. Everything's always in development. My advice for any filmmaker is just say yes to everything, because things come and go, and you never know what stage things are in. And I've been attached to things that have disappeared for 3 years and then bubbled back up. I'm like, oh, I thought that thing was dead. Now I've got to go and do that again. So he kind of evaded the question there. Didn't really say too much, right? So
Yeah.
Interesting perspective, but now we're still left guessing. Like, what is this going to happen? Is it not going to happen?
Yeah.
What do you think?
The way he kind of speaks about death, or basically just the ending of something. I don't know, but at the same time, he's talking about resurrection or something else that's going to be. So I mean, I'm sure that, I don't know, man. I love the guy. I like his quirky style of writing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not sure if that's going to mix very well with Star Wars. I mean, I'll leave it up to, if it happens, cool. If not, then, I mean, at first I was like, I didn't really like the idea of it, but it's coming around. If it happens, then I'm down for it.
Yeah, if it doesn't happen, I'm not really too worried about it.
Yeah, exactly. No, definitely. No, I mean, like his style, it was like, I get it. He's got that cynical, funny, like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But at the same time,
he kind of took a Luke Skywalker, like nothing's ever really gone approach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not sure if it like they killed it before, and maybe he's talking about, well, maybe they're going to bring it back, or his movie. So
yeah,
don't know.
I guess that could go for anything. Like I mean, we thought the Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron movie was dead, right? And they brought that back.
Yeah.
Apparently, she's working on it now, right? So.
Yeah, no, that seems like something I'm definitely going to be waiting for that sort of news that we can get from that. So
Yeah,
that's something I've been wanting to
yeah. And the
get some
reality
more
of these
information
things,
on.
like things happen, right? Like sometimes you can't get a script done
Mhm.
that you like, so you got to keep working on it, and then you go and do some more movies, and you set that aside. So like stuff happens, right? Like life
Yeah.
happens, stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it's understandable. Yeah,
Like Tamora Morrison, put it on the shelf. Maybe they'll get back to it later.
right. Which
Mhm.
that's something I want to bring up later too, at the end of the episode when we talk about
Okay.
the skeleton crew. We'll bring Boba
Ooh.
Fett up.
Ooh. What's going
Um,
on, Chris?
let's
All right. No, that sounds
let's jump
interesting.
into your next story there.
Okay. All right. So, Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Nick Frost brings longevity to the adventure with SM-33. So Nick Frost's love for Star Wars began long before he was cast as the voice of SM-33, a rusty pirate droid with a few loose wires. In the summer of '78, Frost and his cousins spent their weekend pursuing the toy shelves for local stores in their Welsh village, discovering the for looking for discoveries for galaxy far, far away. So my auntie would take me and my cousin to a little shop where they sold Star Wars figures, and we're allowed to buy one figure each. Frost recalls that was our life. Star Wars was just my whole life for 10 years. I still feel exactly the same way now. Certain pieces of music take me back to a time, and I know that picture of Luke Skywalker in front of the twin suns, as well as any photograph of my family. It's ingrained in me. So Frost was fully committed for the moment he got the call, but nothing could have prepared him for seeing the character for the first time, a peg-leg droid with a rat-like creature living in one eye socket. So that kind of when that little rat came out of his eye, I wasn't expecting that at the time. That was a pretty little jump scare. So Frost teases his characters personally will grow beyond his programming in the series. He's a charming metal rogue with a heart, Frost says, and at the same time, he's kind of a bad to the bone. He's kind of bad to the bone. So if droids had bones, that is.
Yeah,
So loving the droids so far. I like when they came and stepped up for the crew
yeah.
and the captain. So
And
that
in the
was pretty cool.
second episode where
Yeah.
he
Yep.
you know the shields came out of his arms there, and he
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
fighting the other pirates. Yeah,
Yeah. No, that was pretty cool. And then get some little backstory of him and his love for Star
hmm
Wars. That kind of reminds me, my childhood. Like me and my cousin, like he we would always like look at the coolest stuff, and he would get like a lot of cool toys, and I was a little bit more, if my grandma bought it for me because my parents were going to buy it for me. So
yeah,
I had to find other ways to try to get what I wanted when trades and things like that with schoolmates and stuff like that. So
hmm
but yeah, kind of brings me back to my childhood and love for Star Wars, and take you back to that time where that's like a big thing, a part of your life, toys
yeah,
and Star Wars. So
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's so far I'm really liking what he's doing with the droid with SM-33. So
but it's pretty neat. It's like some of the behind the scenes, like it's like puppetry,
yeah,
like moving
yeah,
them around and things
very
like
very similar.
pretty cool.
How they did like C-3PO in the prequels, and
Mhm.
I think K2SO was done the same way, right? Like Alan Tudyk was actually
Yeah,
on set helping puppeteer
yeah.
the
So
droid
they know
too,
where to
right?
look.
So
They had that
yeah,
like they had like that cardboard cut out of his head and sticking out from
yeah,
like a backpack or something, like so they can see where he would be, as a character when they do CG. So yeah, it was pretty neat. But yeah,
hmm
seeing a puppet, imagine just your character that you're playing out, in Star Wars, they get you in, and lo and behold, a droid, cool, very cool looking droid at it. So it's
yeah,
pretty neat.
yeah, very cool. So jumping into the next story of the evening. Skeleton Crew 2 episode premiere. I guess it was shown in select theaters in the U.S. I don't know anyone like I don't know any of our friends, any of our social circle here with our Star Wars kind of
Mm.
content creators who got to go with it, but apparently it got shown in some theaters in the States. So
Yeah.
the studio announced on StarWars.com that the first 2 episodes will be screened in 25 cinemas across the country at 7 p.m. local time on Monday, December 2nd, which was yesterday, of course.
Mhm.
The episodes were released at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So this isn't the first time that Lucasfilm had experimented with limited theater screenings of the Disney Plus series. The 5th episode of the Ahsoka series, Shadow Warrior, which had Anakin Skywalker in it, was screened in select cinemas across the world, even making its way across the pond to London. Lucasfilm did the same thing with the first 2 to 3 episodes of The Acolyte, though that one was shown in even fewer locations and only made it to London for a private screening with members of the organization Women in Film and TV. Sadly, there are no signs yet that Skeleton Crew will also be screening in any other theaters in the UK at this time. However, if Ahsoka got a screening of its 5th episode, perhaps there is hope that there might be more theater screenings of Skeleton Crew once we get past Christmas. May the finale itself get a special screening in mid-January. It's unlikely, as Lucasfilm don't usually do this sort of thing twice for a single season, but we can still dream. So that would be kind of cool to see it on the big screen.
Mhm. Yeah,
I,
the closest one
I
to
have
me,
seen. Yeah, what was there? Was there one that was showing it where you
there
are?
was one that was like about 40 minutes away.
Oh, really?
40 minutes, yeah, 40 minutes away. It was a good drive. So I was like,
Yeah,
I'd rather watch it. I'd rather watch it at home. But
yeah,
I know Rob, the Eternal Sith, his
yeah, yeah.
Instagram.
I saw that. I saw
Yeah,
that.
you saw. Yeah,
He got to see it. Yeah.
that's
So up
cool.
in where Jersey? I think he's up in Jersey. So
Yeah,
probably New York had it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that would have
That's
been
pretty.
cool. I don't think they were showing it up here in Canada either. So
Oh, there wasn't any showings over there.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Oh no.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
it was very limited.
if they did, I would try to go. That'd be cool, right?
I think it was like 3 places around Houston. No, 3 places in Texas. One was
Yeah,
in South Texas. I mean, South Houston. That's the one
yeah.
that was like 40 minutes away. And then there was another one, Dallas Fort
Dallas
Worth area.
probably. Yeah,
Yeah. And then the other one,
yeah.
I'm not sure what the last location was, but it was
They probably did
way far.
probably did LA for sure. They probably did
Mhm.
Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the big cities,
Yeah.
the cities that
No,
matter, right?
the what?
The cities that matter.
No. I mean, every city matters, man.
Yeah,
Yep. No. It's just I don't know why they choose so few, but I mean, if you had the opportunity to go
yeah. That'd
catch
be
it, if
cool.
it's close by, that was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yes, I think they like free popcorn or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was Rob that put up there. They got free popcorn. So if you were able to go and got free tickets, awesome.
Yeah.
You got your last story for this evening?
I think that's my last one.
Okay,
Let's move
so
on to
this is
yours.
yeah. So Skeleton Crew showrunner teases deep cuts of Star Wars series Skeleton Crew. So Skeleton Crew will draw from a very deep well of references to make its world feel like old school Star Wars. Showrunner John Watts and Christopher Ford hinted at their series containing some obscure nods to the Star Wars early decades and corners of the galaxy once explored in the 90s era. Expanded universe, Skeleton Crew will feature references to other projects developed by creator George Lucas, including Captain EO. So yeah, we got that little very obscure, but um that little creature. I
Yeah,
got
the
the name of
teak.
it.
Yeah, the
Teak.
teak.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the what was it? The like the shuttle driver, right?
Mm.
In the spaceport.
Oh no, I was talking about the little flying creature from Captain
Oh,
EO.
the flying creature.
The little flying pink creature,
Oh, the pink one. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because that came from what, a Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Yeah, I'm not sure if that
Yeah, a
was
movie or something. It was like a
Captain
short film
EO.
or a movie or something. Or
Yeah, I think that was the 80s or something like that.
yeah, yeah. So like there's some interesting, like I said, Easter eggs and
Yeah.
nods to other stuff, right?
Hmm. Then we
Which
got that hologram, right, from
yeah,
the holiday special.
yeah. Which let's jump into the recap portion
Sure.
then, because like we've been talking about Skeleton Crew with all these articles. Let's jump into the recap section now, because yeah, let's start with the first episode. You said what, 8.5 for your ranking?
8.5.
Yeah, I said 9 for mine.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if anyone else brought it up. Like I've watched other videos, like seeing other people's reactions to it and stuff, but I don't think anyone else mentioned this. Like the whole in the entrance at, like after the little description, like the titles at the beginning
Hmm.
there, where it kind of described what was going on with the state of the galaxy, which they kind of took from Ahsoka, and you could say they took from Solo: A Star Wars Story, because that they had the little description at the beginning
Hmm.
of the show or the movie there. But after that, like the ship flying over in front of that planet, and then the other ship kind of coming in and boarding and
Yeah.
fighting through that hallway. That was the New Hope. They took that from New Hope. Like they didn't do it like shot for shot, but
Hmm.
you could see the inspiration, right? Like they had
Yeah.
the pirates coming down the hallway on the New Republic ship, and then that Captain Sevo or Sivo
Bruce.
or whatever his name
Oh,
is,
yeah.
the
Sivos.
helmeted
Sivo.
one, yeah,
Yeah.
Sevo. Like he even grabbed the other guy and he pulled a Darth Vader and lifted him up, and he's like, if this is like a, what did he say, like a some sort of Republic ship, and he asked a
Hmm.
question like Darth Vader, similar to that. So it
Hmm.
was taken straight out of A New Hope, and that was great.
Yeah.
That's how you hook us, right? You hook the
Hmm.
fans with stuff like that, nods to
Yeah.
the original trilogy.
The whole OT vibes where what shows the planet, the stars, and it was,
Yeah,
it's like that's what exactly what you
yeah,
felt like original trilogy kind of.
yeah, yeah. And then also, when it shifted to like the showing introducing the kids and stuff, and we see
Hmm.
Wim on the second day of school where he was late.
Hmm.
He went through the forest, and that felt like Return of the Jedi, right? Going through this forest on the speeder bikes,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. And
yeah,
what's pretty cool is that how on that planet everything is pretty much like dictated to them. This is
grounded.
where you're going. This is, oops,
Yeah,
sorry. This is where you're going, and this is the way to school. The droids pretty much telling you, watching over everybody. And then what I loved most about that is how what's her name, Fern and KD or KB.
yeah,
Well, like
KB.
they
Yeah,
take they took their own little speeder, and they're like making their own path to get to school
yeah,
through the forest. And of course, Fern Wim trying to copy exactly how they did it and got lost or whatever. That's how that got all started. But it's pretty cool that everything's controlled, and these kids are trying to just break away from that
breakaway.
control. Yeah.
Yeah, which let's talk about the kids, because like the kids, it's an interesting dynamic. So like Wim is obviously this dreamer, right? Like he's
Hmm.
playing with his little toys, his action figures, and
That's
dreaming of
that's
being like a
us
Jedi and stuff. And then
exactly.
like when he meets Neil, right? They do the whole lightsaber thing, and they're making
Lightsabers.
noises and stuff like that, and like so that like they've heard these stories of the
Hmm.
Jedi and stuff, and they've probably never seen one, so they don't know
Yeah.
what they look like, how they act, right? So
Mm.
it was cool to see that. So like Wim's like the dreamer, Neil's kind of like, I don't know, the follower, but like more the sensible, like, okay, let's
Mhm.
be cautious here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, Fern seemed like she was a very smart one, like street smart,
Mhm.
and then KB was like a very technical
Yeah.
kid, right?
Mhm.
So it's a very interesting, but like good interesting dynamic.
Yes, yes. Yeah, no, I mean it's pretty cool how, and I think that's was done intentionally for us, making
Yeah.
this planet so like Earth, and then making these kids want more from it,
Yeah.
from what their lives are, what their lives are currently giving them. And so like all this adventure stuff, like that's pretty cool. It's like we
Yeah.
put ourselves in our kids, while growing up, what these kids are doing, at that time, wishing we would do something like that, or
Yeah.
getting on your bikes and just taking off and exploring the little town that you live in or whatever. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think they do that intentionally
Yeah.
to give us that same feel like kids do, or how we felt growing up,
Hmm.
wanting more of what's in front
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And even scenes like when Neil and Wim are going back to what they thought was the Jedi Temple, like they're
Hmm.
walking their bikes through the field, right? Like
Yeah.
it felt like the Amblin movies, right? Like the
Yes.
Dune movies,
Yes.
like Stand By Me,
Hmm.
right? Aboard the Venator is in the chat. He says, was interesting we didn't get more pop music like Major Tom. Was curious how that was going to play out. Yeah, I know. I hope we get Major Tom in Houthis on the soundtrack. That's what I'm
Yeah, I
hoping for.
know. I mean, for the soundtrack, they may not do it for the show, but for the soundtrack,
No, I don't know how they'd fit that
like,
in there.
yeah, no,
Patrick said, I love the playfulness of the action figures
yeah,
and playing pretend with the lightsabers. Yeah, right? It's
exactly.
something we can all relate to.
All relate to, yeah. It's like that's
Yeah,
why we put ourselves in it. It's like that's pretty cool.
yeah,
And then like
um,
episode 2,
yeah.
if you want to get into
But
that episode.
yeah, well, actually, there's a couple more things I wanted to talk
Okay.
about for episode one, like because we mentioned the hologram on the table in
Hmm.
Neil's house, right? From the holiday special. They took that from the holiday special and
Yep.
recreated that, which was very cool. A nice nod to that. And then also, I think when Wim and Neil were on the bus and they saw Fern and KB kind of turn that corner, go off in the forest,
Hmm.
and then they see them the next day, and I think it was Wim who said the bike was that's so wizard, which was like a
Yeah.
line from Anakin, right?
So as soon as they said that, I was just like busting out
Yeah,
laughing. That's hilarious.
yeah. No, that's great though. Like they're
Hmm.
pulling from all
Yep.
different stuff, right? So, um, and the planet, like the planet is just it's so weird, like because everything is on like those tracks, like all the vehicles
Yep.
are on those tracks, other than like the bikes and stuff. The bikes are allowed to
Hmm.
free roam, but like there's no flying ships other than the one that was buried in the ground there that they found
Yep.
and it blasted off, right? And
So yeah, it must have
so
must
there's
have
some there's
crashed.
something up with that, right? Like
Yeah.
even the droids, was it in the second episode where the droid said, yeah, I think it was the second episode when Wim's dad ran into the droids in the forest and he said there was a starship that blasted off and the droids were like, no, there's no starships on in or out of this planet, right? So
Hmm. They kept
it's
talking
just
about this boundary. This boundary. They're going to go past this
yeah,
boundary. Say, what
yeah,
is that about?
or the barrier or whatever they
Barrier.
called
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah. Which in the second episode there was so much stuff that like to take in,
Mhm.
like not just like the action. Like we got the action with like SM-33 fighting the pirates on at the spaceport there. Um, but we got like they're trying to get back to their planet. They're asking directions to their planet. Ad Astra or Ad Ada, whatever it's
At
called.
Adam. At
Yeah,
Adam.
that's it. At Aden. Yeah, that's right. And like no, they're all
Nobody.
like laughing at them. No, they think this planet's a myth, right? And they're like,
Yeah, they've
it's
heard about it. So it's like
they've heard about it. Yeah, it's supposed to have like this treasure, right? This treasure that's there.
like the lost city of gold. It's like it's
Yeah, or
there.
something like that, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
And then like the credits that Wim got from his father in the previous episode for his lunch money, like those are
Right.
apparently what like old Republic credits or something.
Was it New
So
Republic credits?
no,
Did you say
old Republic.
Old Republic
No, they said
credits?
old Republic.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like there's so much mystery still.
Yeah. It's like, and they talk about the planet. It's like this planet has so much like treasures or something like that.
Yeah,
And see and that's why I like what they're doing. Is like if you think about it, it's like Earth. Earth has
Yeah.
got so many treasures, but they're looking. They want to look past this. What the Earth has given them,
Hmm.
or maybe the access of where they got. Because I mean, everything's pretty much controlled. You can't go past these boundaries or whatever. So there's stuff there that a lot of people don't even know about it. Most everybody don't know anything about it. Even the
Yeah.
ship was hidden in the forest.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody heard, like, or most people probably heard of this myth of Aden, and these kids are from there. They want to escape because they want to go explore or whatever, or
Yeah.
they got caught up in the ship. But his dreaming of becoming a Jedi or whatever. So it's
Yeah. A
like they're
protector,
looking
right? Or
past and want to
someone
go.
who protects people
Yeah.
and saves people, like you said in the first episode there, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
No,
it's
it's
pretty
just it's
smart how they making this story.
yeah. Yeah, and they're keeping a lot of mystery too still. Like Jawed even, like
Yeah,
which do you think it's Jawed underneath that mask
dude,
at
and
the beginning?
that goes back to the story we were talking about last week or the week before
Yeah, a couple
that
weeks
he had
ago,
that he
where
was
he mentioned that
wearing a
he
helmet,
wearing a mask. Yeah, or helmet.
or a
Yeah,
helmet.
yeah.
So I have a
I think
feeling
it is.
I mean it's too easy. But would they make it that easy for us to figure it out all out like that? I mean,
I mean, maybe they would
oh,
make it that easy if there's another twist that's not easy, right?
there you go. That's exactly. It's like they're making it, putting it in your face. This is this
Yeah,
character, but
yeah.
something else is
It's
going
either
on.
that easy or they really want us to think that, and then they're gonna be like, no, it's someone else, right?
Do you
They're
do
trying
you
to deceive us. So,
do you think they'll do the
but I think it
twins?
is
Do you think they'll do the
the
twins?
twins. Oh, like Jaw's a twin or something?
God's a twin.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know if they'll do the twins though. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's Jawed underneath that mask.
Yeah.
Like I had made a comment actually to Mike over on his channel there on
Mhm.
his breakdown video, and I said, I think it's Jawed, and he brought up a decent point. Like, why would they throw their captain in the brink or whatever they called it, like the jail cell
Mm.
there
I
or the brig or whatever?
I
And
got theories about that too.
yeah, but I feel like they did. Like what he could have escaped at any time because
There you
obviously
go.
he can like use the force, right? He
Yeah.
could have escaped at any time.
Why did you choose right
So
now to escape?
I think he's
To show.
hiding that part of him, right, to show people, and he's just waiting for the right opportunity because
Mhm.
he seems like someone who's maybe trying to make his way in the galaxy, hopping from crew to crew, trying to finding that big score, right? And he hasn't found that yet. So now he's waiting in this prison. He hears the kids talking about all these credits and their homeworld now, and now he's like, okay, this is my opportunity. I'll get these kids out of here. Well, I'll work with them, and I'll try and go back to their planet and get this treasure,
Mhm.
right? So,
Exactly. So I think that's probably
so
why he let himself go to, because it was a pirate's pretty much jail cell.
yeah,
And if he's the king of the pirates, he's trying to pretty much like clear his name, get the credits that he messed up. When he just found that one credit, they got him out of the crew, and I think he's just trying to find his way to get back good with his crew, or steal it all.
steal it all
Steal
for.
the money.
I'm leaning more like he's trying to steal it all for himself, right?
So yeah, so I think he's pretty much placed himself in that situation, or he
Yeah,
said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna find it. These kids are talking about, credits and this planet," and he made a deal with his pirate buddies and say, "Look, I'm gonna pretend to be, their confidant or whatever."
yeah. Because like he could have just like grabbed that key at any time, right?
Anytime. Why at that
Yeah,
time?
yeah. Like I said, I think he's just kind of like that was a place for him to sleep. He's in prison. He's just stay in there, and then till like another opportunity comes up,
Yeah.
right? And then the
Hmm.
kids came in, and they're like, "Oh, hey, we got these credits." Oh,
Yeah, they talk
no,
about
don't talk about the credits, right?
the credits.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so
no, yeah, I think we're pretty much thinking the same path. wavelength here,
Yeah,
because I think that's
and
what's going on myself.
and then when Wim's like, "Oh, you're a Jedi," and he's like, "Shh, can you keep a secret?" Right? Like
Mhm.
it's very suspicious too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm totally with you on that one. It's like I think it's just pretty much setting it up
yeah,
for him to be in prison. I probably overheard they're going to throw him in the barracks or whatever, and he's already in there, or they already pretty much told him in advance we're going to put the kids in here, and then him trying to weasel his way into to be their friend or whatever, or
yeah,
this Jedi.
yeah. That's another thing I wanted to bring up, like the endings, how they ended the episodes. So like the first episode ended when they made that jump to light speed or
Mhm.
hyperspace, right? And they were all screaming and like felt like a cliffhanger, right? So if it was like if they did the one episode this week and then they did the next one next week, it felt like a cliffhanger enough to get you invested. That you're like, okay,
Mhm.
what's going to happen now, right? And
Yeah.
then again with the Jawed, like the episode ended with Jawed being, shh, can you keep a
Mhm.
secret? And then it
Yeah.
ended, right? And you're like, okay, now I want more. I still want more, right? So
Brilliant.
they're
Brilliant.
yeah, they're ending these episodes very well so far. So I hope it continues
Yeah.
because like
I
there's
want.
so many more unanswered questions still, right?
Mhm. I want 3 already. So we
Right?
got to wait a whole week.
A whole week, yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, Patrick said it's M. Night Shyamalan's The Village,
Village
but in the Star Wars universe, yeah. And who is the supervisor they mentioned? Yeah, right?
supervisor. I don't remember
Yeah.
that part.
I think he's talking about the at the school there. They mentioned like a supervisor. I don't think they use the term supervisor, but
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
don't
what
know.
Patrick's talking about. I
Dude,
believe.
I'm
Correct
invested
me
in
if
the
I'm
show.
wrong.
Like 2
Yeah,
episodes in, got me hooked.
right. But that's another thing because like we we've seen the trailers come out over the past few weeks and stuff, and people have been making their predictions and stuff and theories because like there's so much mystery surrounding this show. Like Hondo and Naka, it seems like he could show up
Mhm.
because of like stuff that showed us in the trailer with like the room full of treasure and the big statue that looks like Hondo, right? And his ship is in the trailer.
Mhm.
Um, and then we're supposed to be going to Tatooine, which is why I wanted to bring up Boba Fett. Do you think Tamora Morrison is going to be on like Boba Fett on
Oh,
Tatooine?
that'd be amazing if they were to pull that off. That'd
Right?
be cool,
Like
man.
that,
If
there's a
they're bringing
cameo, right?
they go to Tatooine, you have to speak to the boss.
Right?
You have to speak to the boss. So yeah, that'd be cool if they did that.
Yeah.
That'd
Or
be cool.
Peli Motto, right? Like does
Kelly
Peli
Motto.
Motto show up? She's
No,
just like the
if
goat.
it's gonna be the pirates, or if it's gonna be Jod, he probably want to keep it undercover, but if it's the pirates, the whole pirate crew, I think they have to go to speak to Boba Fett.
Yeah, yeah. But I can see them like if their ship needs repair and they're on Tatooine,
Hmm.
maybe they do visit Peli Motto, right? She's the one
Yeah.
who's in the in Mos Eisley or Mos Espa, whatever it is, where she's like
Hmm.
fixing ships, right? So
Yeah.
who knows? Yeah, they said it at the school to the dad in the forest was told by the droids and the kids that they'll get in trouble from the supervisor for breaking the barrier. Yeah, that's right.
Hmm.
So still
Okay.
lots to come. There's lots of like I said, lots of unanswered questions still.
It's so cool to
But
see
it
all
was
these little creatures and new
yes,
droids and
yeah, like you mentioned that one creature,
pirates.
the flying pink one, right? That was brought right in from that Michael Jackson
Hmm.
video or whatever, right?
The furry, what's it called? The
The
fair.
teak,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, dude, he
from
split
the
with
from the
that. He split
Ewok
with the critic.
movies.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
split with that critic. That was hilarious.
yeah, yeah. So
And
like they're bringing stuff in from everywhere, which is awesome.
mhm, Brutus, that's a cool character right
Yeah.
there.
Again, like that's something they brought. Like the last time we saw that species was what, A New Hope in the Cantina, I think it was.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's
excited about the
super good.
the rest of the episodes.
Yeah, like I said, I'm hooked, man.
Yeah, but they did do a great job of setting things up, right? Like it first episode introduced you to the kids. It told you what was happening. Like there's pirates in the galaxy. They're you know taking over some of these trade routes or whatever it said,
Mhm.
and so we know there's pirates that got something to do with this, and then it jumped right to the at Aden, and it introduced the kids and showed us right away like what kind of kids they were, right? And they got off the planet. It jumped right into it, right? And then
Mhm.
the second episode, it continued that they're in the spaceport. They meet Jod, and now we're introduced to Jod, and he seems pretty sketchy, right? So
Mhm.
they did a good job of like introducing everything in the first two episodes. So now it's just
And
like, okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes of the series, right?
mhm.
Let's get to the all the other stuff, the
I
unanswered
thought it was pretty
questions that
cool.
were.
Did you catch
Yeah,
the Clone Wars? Um, did you get that from the first like when the ship when they were trying to jump in the ship, hijack the ship?
yeah,
Clone Wars
yeah.
where
At
they
the
were
beginning there.
in the suits, space
Yeah,
suits.
yeah,
That was pretty
right.
cool.
Yeah.
I
So like
totally
there's nods to everything.
yeah, the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So yeah, so many references.
Yeah.
Um, endless reference. Of course, we got Star Wars. You got a deep well. You can pretty much just get in there and get so many cool stuff from there.
Hmm.
And of course, you got the '80s, Amblin films, and so you see a lot of that tie-in also to the show. So I'm loving it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. I like it.
Mhm.
And your story earlier, which mentioned the it's being received very well with critics. I think I saw something on social media about the Rotten Tomato score. I'm gonna
What's
look
the
it up
score
right
on
now.
that?
Actually, I'm gonna look it up right now because I think it was really good. I think it was like 96% with
Ooh,
critics. I think I'm just gonna look it up here. See where it gives us. Yeah, so 95%
dude, that's strong.
average tomato average for the tomato meter, and then
Critic
87% for the
the
popcorn meter, which is the audience, right?
audience,
So
yeah,
yeah, so pretty
that's
high
strong.
score so far.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that's good, strong. So yeah, excited to
Was
see
that
where this is gonna go
acolytes
though.
was like 20 something percent. It's like
Something like that. Yeah, let me share my
18,
screen here.
20%.
Yeah, I'm just gonna share my screen here.
Let's go back in time and go revisit that.
Yeah, yeah. So 95%, 87% for audience.
Dude, that's strong
Yeah.
though.
What was the
For
accolade?
niche.
What was the accolade?
Yeah.
Accolades 78% critics, 18%
18.
audience.
Yep.
Yeah, so pretty low.
I'm so glad that most everybody's in the same page and they're enjoying the
I
show.
mean, yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed the accolade, like because it had like it brought back lightsabers, Jedi. You know, we got
Mhm.
Plagueis out of it. Like, yeah, could it have been better? Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah.
I still thought it was great myself.
Mm. There were some good episodes. I'm gonna
Yeah,
agree with that part. But
but yeah, it's good
overall,
that
man, I wasn't feeling it, man.
Skeleton Crew looks like it's everyone's on board with it
Hmm.
so far. So haven't really heard any complaints.
Yeah, no, let's see what episode 3 has for us. It's a nice little
Yeah.
ending. How they, where they're gonna escape, how they're gonna escape, you know.
Hmm.
So where the story's
Yeah.
gonna lead to next.
Right. Yeah.
Mm,
I mean, I'm sure it's gonna. I'm sure we're gonna see more trailer footage because usually they take the footage from like the first 3, 4 episodes and cut the trailer out of that, and there might be like the odd clip from like the second half of the season, but I'm sure we're gonna see stuff like I'm trying to think what was in the trailer now. Like probably them on that in that um like walking that ramp where he's like, "Oh, come aboard my ship" or whatever. We're gonna see that footage probably in the next episode or two. So should be interesting to see. I'm excited for it.
Excited. So next week
Yeah.
we're gonna be doing a
Yeah, well, we'll do a little bit of a watch party. Yeah.
there you go. So that's the plan. So I need to get myself my Disney
Correct.
Plus. I just got the standard Disney Plus right now with commercials, so I need to upgrade that at least for the time being for these upcoming episodes. So
Mm-hmm.
then
Yeah,
back.
that should
Try
be
to
fun.
save some money.
Should be fun.
Trying to save some money, Chris.
Yeah. But I think that does it for this episode. Hey, Eric,
This was fun,
talk some
man.
news, talk some not Acolyte, talk some Skeleton Crew. So looking forward to the next episodes.
Looking forward to the next episode, the live watch party.
But thanks everyone for hopping in the chat and joining us this evening. And let us know if you're watching us on the replay. Let us know what you thought of the Skeleton Crew. What would you rank it? Let us know down in the comments, and we'll see everyone next week.